If you could join or remain standing as the Give Back Glee Club sings the national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er so ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave.
If you join with the Honorable Derek Carlisle, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in reciting the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. On. Ready. Fix. Mark time. Mark. Forward. March.
I'd like to thank the Mojave County Sheriff's Office and the Kingman Police Department for providing the personnel for the color guard. I think they did an amazing job. I would also like to thank the Glee Club, the Give Back Glee Club, for their wonderful presentation of the national anthem. I'm now going to invite C.J. Myers, who's the leader, choir master, I'm not sure the correct title, of the Glee Club, to make a few comments about her organization. And in the meantime, I apologize. I should have told you, you can be seated. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cindy Joseph Myers, and I often go by CJ Myers. I'm a nurse attorney practicing for the law firm of Heather Wellborn, and I also serve on the executive board for the Mojave County Bar Association. I am here to introduce and let you know what this wonderful group of youth is up to in Lake Havasu, Arizona. The Give Back Glee Club is under the direction of Grace Arts Live, located in Lake Havasu, Arizona. They are a 501c3 youth theatrical organization whose goal is to engage the community with performances at nursing homes, festivals, and various events, which today includes this wonderful event. In giving back to their community through song, the Glee Club faithfully fulfills its mission to inspire and connect young performers to their community through meaningful, artistic, expression in music. This Glee Club includes children from the age of 9 to 18. There are a total of 18, and today we were able to have 11 here. These kids were selected through an audition process for their talent, but also for their character. Those that are not able to be here today, they are actually watching online, and we want to acknowledge them as well. Now I ask that our bench, our wonderful judges, and our legal community and the community at large give these wonderful kids a round of applause. Thank you all.
Thank you, CJ. This is not going to be an extremely long presentation, but there will be a couple speeches that you'll have to endure. I believe mine will be relatively short. For the Rule of Law Day, I want all of us to keep in mind 3 dates and 1 phrase. The first date is July 4th, 1776. On July 4th of this year, it'll be the 250th year since the Declaration of Independence stated the founding core of this country, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Another date is February 12th, 1809, the birth date of Abraham Lincoln. A president who was an attorney, a president who held our country together during very turbulent times, a president who lost his life too soon and before he could have done everything he desired to do after having navigated us through 4 years of civil war. The third date is February 14th, Valentine's Day, but also in 1912, the date that Arizona became a state. All 3 of those dates are dates that this day is built around, our Rule of Law Day. The United States of America is unique amongst the nations of the earth in that we both have a rule of law on paper and we have rule of law in reality. We've done that through the Revolutionary War, which its guiding document was the Declaration of Independence, and later the Constitution, which took political power and fragmented it amongst federal government, state government, local government, and then fragmented it further between the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. Speaking as to the judicial branch, we then fragmented that power even further. In the state of Arizona, we have magistrates who are present today. We have justice of the peace who are present today. We have superior court judges who are present today. We have a court of appeals, and we have an Arizona Supreme Court. So there's not just one person with the title of judge who has all the power underneath his or her hat. That power is fragmented and scattered so that the old principle, which is true, power corrupts, is checked and balanced so that power can be used responsibly for the benefit of the public. That, I think, is the central thesis of Rule of Law Day, is that power constrained by law and with multiple people watching everyone else who has power and making sure that it's constrained by law for the benefit of the public and for the longevity of our republic. It's not just liberty, it's not just equality, it's both. And there's a conflict between the two, and every day of our lives we navigate that conflict either as judges or as lawyers or as members of the public, having to deal with the rules and regulations imposed upon you, or trying to take advantage of the benefits that this free society gives you. So I think we should celebrate our country. We should celebrate the Rule of Law Day. We should bow our heads in thanks to the Lord Almighty that we live in such a society where our rights and our privileges are not just on paper, they are a reality. Because there's many other nations in this world, large portions of this world, who do not enjoy those God-given blessings. That is my speech about why we're here today. It's a remembrance of what we do. Every lawyer here, every judge here is dedicated to the rule of law. I had my son come home all excited once during high school, and he said, "You know, Shakespeare said, 'Kill all the lawyers, Judge.'" And Shakespeare's a really smart guy. What do you say to that? I said, you have to read the entire play in context. The entire play in context was a bunch of treasonous rebels who wanted to kill the rightful king and seize power. They said the first thing we need to do is kill all the lawyers, because the lawyers would resist the, as in England would call it, the esquire class, the gentlemanly class for which lawyers are drawn from. They would resist. They would gather around and protect the rightful king. So when Shakespeare said, "Kill all the lawyers," he was recognizing that lawyers embodied law. And a society with a free bench, a powerful bench, a brave and educated bench, they are the true guardians of freedom in the United States of America, and we all participate in that. I've said my piece. I'm very pleased to be a lawyer. I'm very pleased to be a judge. And now I'm very pleased to introduce the remarks of our Chief Justice, Ann Scott Timmer.
Good morning, fellow attorneys. Good morning, fellow attorneys. Thank you for being here to mark an extraordinary milestone in our nation's history, the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence and the founding of our country. For many people, this may not feel like a natural moment for celebration. Trust in government institutions is strained, skepticism about our national direction is widespread, and the mood of the country is, frankly, tense. That tension is not new. I was 15 years old, turning 16, during our nation's bicentennial in 1976. I remember that year vividly. Not because the country was carefree or united, but because it was anything but. The bicentennial followed Watergate, a period when Americans had lost profound faith in their governing officials. There was deep questioning of authority and widespread unhappiness with our institutions. The nation was grappling with racism and gender inequality and still processing the disillusionment and introspection that followed the end of the Vietnam War. Economically, the country was anxious. Stagflation was a new and frightening word. Unemployment reached 9% in 1975. The 1973 oil embargo had produced fuel shortages, long lines at gas stations, rationing, and sharply inflated prices. By any measure, the national mood was unsettled and uncertain. And yet, despite all of that distress, we pulled out all the stops to celebrate America. Why? It was not because Americans believed their government was flawless. It was because they still trusted the founding principles. There was a shared understanding that while leaders might fail, the ideals embodied in the Declaration of Independence and carried forward in our constitutional system were worth celebrating, preserving, and recommitting to. That distinction mattered then, and it matters now. The Declaration of Independence is sometimes treated as a ceremonial preface to our constitutional story, something we might read or at least Google on the 4th of July and then set aside. But that misses its enduring power. The Declaration is not law in the way the Constitution is law, but it is the moral and philosophical foundation of our American Republic. It tells us why the rule of law exists at all. The Declaration begins with a proposition that still challenges us, that all people are created equal and are endowed with unalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It explains that governments are instituted to secure those rights, and that when they fail to do so, the people retain the authority to alter or abolish them. So simple, so powerful, and so extraordinarily difficult to realize, advance, and protect. The authors of the Declaration, most of them lawyers, understood human fallibility. They knew that rights mean little unless they are respected, protected, and enforced. Turning ideals into lived reality would be the work of future generations. It is fitting, then, that we gather today on the birthday of another lawyer who understood the Declaration's meaning as deeply as anyone, Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln did not treat the Declaration as a relic of 1776. He treated it as a living statement of national purpose. In his view, the Declaration announced a moral truth, and the Constitution was the framework designed to make that truth durable over time. In responding to the Supreme Court's decision in Dred Scott, Lincoln explained that the founders did not declare equality because it was fully realized in their time. They declared it as a standard, a principle to be constantly looked to, constantly labored for, and even though never perfectly attained, constantly approximated. Equality, he said, was meant to be a stumbling block to tyranny, a hard nut to crack for future oppressors. In an 1858 speech, Lincoln urged Americans who were tempted to narrow or dilute that principle to come back, to return to the truths set forth in the Declaration of Independence, and not to destroy what he called that immortal emblem of humanity. That idea of return is central to our constitutional tradition. Progress in a constitutional democracy is not always linear, but when we falter, the measure of our character is whether we are willing to come back to first principles, to equality under law, and to the rule of law itself. This is what we celebrate, the moral foundation of our country, that we are a free people, self-governing and adherent to a rule of law designed to preserve our freedoms and protect all our rights. I was once asked by a student after I described the Constitution and its Bill of Rights, does it work? That simple question gave me pause, and my answer then is my answer now. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't, at least not right away. Consider the Declaration's promise of equality. It took nearly a century to abolish slavery. Another century passed before the 15th Amendment's guarantee of voting rights was meaningfully enforced. These failures were not failures of our founding principles. They were failures of the people charged with honoring them. We are not perfect, but we are a hopeful, determined, and resilient people. And we understand that the rule of law is not self-executing. Its strength depends on people and institutions willing to defend it. We see that most clearly when it disappears. Take Afghanistan, a country that adopted a constitution in 2004 guaranteeing democratic governance and equal rights for women. For a time, those guarantees mattered. When the Taliban returned to power in 2021, they were swept aside, not because the Constitution failed, but because the rule of law failed. That example reminds us that written guarantees are only as strong as the commitment to enforce them. Here, that commitment is made explicit in the oath of office that every Arizona lawyer takes. When you reaffirm your oath today, you are not swearing allegiance to a client, a cause, or a political party. You are swearing to support the Constitution of the United States and the constitutional laws of the state of Arizona, to maintain respect for the courts and judicial officers, and to conduct yourselves with integrity and honesty in the practice of law. That oath is not ceremonial. It is a living commitment. It binds each of us to the rule of law itself. As we mark this 250th anniversary, it is worth asking ourselves some hard questions. Are we living up to the Declaration's promise? Are we strengthening public confidence in our legal institutions? Are we willing, when necessary, to come back to principle over expedience, to equality over exclusion, and to law as a restraint on power rather than a tool of it? As you retake your oath, I invite you to hear it not as routine words, but as a reaffirmation of the same principles announced 250 years ago. The Declaration declared independence from tyranny. The oath declares allegiance to the rule of law. Together, they remind us that American democracy depends on people, especially lawyers, who are willing to recommit again and again to our founding principles. So simple, so powerful, and so necessary. And now let us renew our oath, not just with our words, but with our work. Happy semi-quincentennial.
This ceremony is happening all around the state of Arizona today, in all 15 counties. And the Chief Justice said something which I kicked myself when she said it to remind me. It's not just the United States Constitution, it's the Arizona Constitution. The Arizona Constitution advances the rights guaranteed to us, our duties that are imposed upon us, above and beyond that of the United States Constitution. And as she said, progress, liberty, and equality under law is something which is always evolving, always changing, something we never are actually going to achieve, but every day we try to get a little closer. The next speaker is someone who I admire greatly, who scares me sometimes with her energy, is the Associate Presiding Judge, Megan A. McCoy.
Oh, thank you, Steve. We are here today celebrating 250 years of this great experiment in governance under a rule of law. And that is what founded these United States of America. And looking back at that 1776, our nation took the unprecedented, risky attempt to build a country grounded not in monarchy, but in the principles of self-governance, focused on individual liberty. This nation tested whether a government by the people could endure. We are here 2.5 centuries later, and we are still finding that the rule of law holds our society together and secures our most fundamental of rights, including those that we keep mentioning today, of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It was John Adams who wrote that this was to be a country ruled by laws, not by men, and it is perhaps not what I think of on any given day that matters in the law, and it is not my mood that matters in the law. It is the law itself. And I get to simply be a person who facilitates that rule of law. And John Adams was a lawyer. He understood that we as men are not able to provide the same fairness and consistency as the steadiness that can be found in the law. He believed that as advocates pitted against each other, tested against each other, the truth would emerge into the light, and accountability would be found as we held each other accountable. Truly, lawyers have played an extraordinary role in the founding of this nation. Great lawyers: Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, all lawyers. Over half of the delegates at our Constitutional Convention drafting our United States Constitution were lawyers. Many were judges, and more than half of our presidents have been legally trained to be lawyers. And I think of how different these great lawyers were, how much they fought with each other, how much they would be shocked at where we are today. I think of how different we all are. From the early lawyers who were crafting these foundational documents for our nation, to the frontier lawyers who were riding circuit and serving their communities. I know of the history here in Mojave County that includes that, and it does not seem that far away when we look at how quickly things have changed. I look at the lawyers of today who are now working by Zoom and who have more emails than should possibly exist in their inbox. We are each so different from each other and have different experiences, we have different viewpoints, we have different struggles, but we are each committed to understanding how this system of laws works and knowing the incredible impact of just one case on each person that comes into a courtroom. A lawyer, in the best sense, is bound to serve the rule of law by the oaths that we make. We perhaps forget in the day-to-day. I know that I do not consistently and daily think about the day in 2006 when I got to raise my hand and be sworn in as a lawyer by Judge Bob Moon. We are spending our days full of files, making phone calls, we watch our deadlines, we are drafting documents. We forget that this is our calling, and today we are told to remember. We may forget at some days to look up from our screens or while we are in the midst of heated conflicts that this is a community. A lawyer is guided by ethics and the law, not by personal emotion or opinion, though we certainly have plenty of both. A lawyer is committed to advocacy and candor and due process and a court system that provides fairness to all who come before it. Take a moment and look around this room. We have more in common with each other than we are always able to admit. Consider the agony, the heartache, the vindication, the relief, and the exhaustion and dedication that are a part of this calling. Few others could understand the way another lawyer does. That toxic relationship that we have with the law at times. And truly, we are misunderstood by many who are sitting outside of this profession, as we can argue both sides of almost any point. We can every day advocate for causes that are not our own. We are confusing as we do not fight for only our own causes, but we have honed a skill set and a knowledge that we use to the benefit of others. We do not argue in a courtroom over what we think the law should be. We are not the legislature. We argue about what the law is and how it should be applied. And as I look out at this room, I see professionals that are guided by ethics, by discipline, and by a shared commitment to something that is larger than ourselves. And I am honestly so moved, so honored to have been a lawyer and a judge alongside those in this room. Mojave County, you inspire me. You have taught me, and you have made me better, both in the courtroom and out. As lawyers, we can shape how others see us by sharing our faith and dedication to the rule of law at the dinner table and in our community and in our everyday work, and help others understand why it matters, to help others understand who we are, and to help build the next 250 years of this great nation, rooted in the rule of law, one case at a time, one day at a time. Ours is a profession that is revered in our best moments, reviled in our mistakes and our missteps, but we are defined by our dedication in the everyday moments in the practice of law. Every day, we rise with another opportunity to live up to the oaths that we have sworn. And as lawyers, we have each pledged to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Arizona. Today, we reaffirm that promise together, remembering the many separate ceremonies of varying formality that brought us into this profession. And so I invite the lawyers to please come forward to reaffirm your oath as administered by the presiding judge of this Mojave County Superior Court, Stephen Moss.
Thank you, Megan. And as the lawyers join, the Republic is not a new concept in governance. The Roman Republic lasted about 500 years. The Venetian Republic lasted nearly 1,000 years. Our republic is still in its infancy. Now, the judges can be seated because they get a different oath. If the lawyers, the judges can be seated, judges can be seated. If the lawyers can gather in so we can actually collect a photo, act like the bar likes each other. And as James Madison said, if men were angels, we would need no government. Well, men aren't angels. We need government, but we need lawyers to keep them in check. A little closer. We have someone with a camera over there. Give me the thumbs up when you got him. I'm going to read the oath to you. When I say the phrase, state your name, actually give me your name. Don't be a clown. I know the bar. Raise your right hands, please. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution. Of the United States. And the Constitution. Of the State of Arizona. I will maintain the respect. Due to the courts. Of justice. And judicial officers. I will not counsel or maintain. Any suit or proceeding. That shall appear to me. To be without merit. Or to be unjust. I will not assert any defense. Except such. As I honestly believe. To be debatable. Under the law of the land. I will employ. For the purpose of maintaining. The causes confided to me. Such means only. As are consistent with truth and honor. I will never seek to mislead. The judge or jury. By any misstatement. Or false statement. Of fact or law. I will maintain the confidence. And preserve inviolate. The secrets of my client. I will accept no compensation. In connection with. My client's business. Except for my client. Or with my client's knowledge. And approval. I will abstain from all. Offensive conduct. I will not advance. Any fact prejudicial. To the honor. Or reputation. Of a party or witness. Unless required by the justice. Of the cause. With which. I am charged. I will never reject. From any consideration. Personal to myself. The cause of the defenseless. Or oppressed. Nor will I delay. Any person's cause. For greed or malice. I will at all times. Faithfully and diligently. Adhere to the rules. Of professional responsibility. And a lawyer's creed. Of professionalism. Of the State Bar. Of Arizona. Congratulations on renewing your oath. Thank you all. And please, if you could, have a seat. I would have spoken into the microphone when I administered that oath, but I thought I would blow the eardrums out of everyone near me. Our next speaker is an attorney that I have known for many years. She used to coach soccer with me, I guess 15, 20 years ago, which is how I know a lot of people because of the soccer leagues. And she's now the president of the Mojave County Bar, Attorney Heather Wellborn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Heather Wellborn, and I am the president of the Mojave County Bar Association. Thank you all for coming today to celebrate America's 250th anniversary, which is also known as the United States semi-quincentennial. We are here to celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and that actually will occur on July 4th, 2026, which is our actual Independence Day. And to be here today to witness the reaffirmation of the oath of admission to the practice of law, where lawyers and judges of Mojave County have reaffirmed their oath to support the United States Constitution and the Arizona Constitution, and to uphold our justice system and seek justice for all. A little bit about me. Attorneys are not robots. We are human. And I'm a private attorney here in Mojave County, and I've been practicing law in Arizona and California since 2005. My firm currently has 3 locations, one in Lake Havasu, one in Kingman, and one in Parker. And myself and my associate attorney, Anita Dale, as well as CJ Myers, who's here today as well, along with our incredible support staff who are here today, Connie Cowens, Lacey Stewart, Jennifer Ward, Kelsey Andrews, and Yessie Castillo, are all here proudly serving the legal needs of our communities. Just a little bit about myself. I grew up in Long Beach, California, and I am a first-generation college graduate. I went to California State University, Long Beach when I was 17 years old, and I graduated there, and then I went immediately into law school at Western State University College of Law. Immediately upon graduating, I took the California bar, passed it, and then moved here to Lake Havasu City, Arizona. And that's where I've resided ever since. And through that journey, I've had an amazing support system of my mother, who's here today, Chris Wellborn, my father, who recently passed, John, who's in heaven, my husband, Ryan, my 3 children, Lily, Lincoln, and Leah, who are here today as well, and my in-laws, Gail and Glenn Stroh, here, who are also here to support me. It definitely takes a village, and I'm incredibly blessed to have them all here and to be speaking to you all today. A little bit about the Mojave County Bar Association. The Mojave County Bar Association first filed as a nonprofit on April 4th, 1980, and has been serving the bench and bar and community ever since. Our board meets monthly, and we currently have 8 executive board members, including myself, and that's Danielle Giddings-Fontenot, Steve Ergens, who is here today as well, Debbie Liverance, who's here as well, Brian Schiller, CJ Myers, who's here, Jason Mitchell, who's here as well, and Alyssa Oob. I was invited to join the Mojave County Bar Association by Jay Bidwell, who's here as well, and it's actually his birthday today, so happy birthday, Jay, and Paul Sowerby, who has since passed away. Both of them welcomed me to town and to the bar with open arms with one condition. They said, play fair in the sandbox, wise words that I will never forget. The local bar association is an important resource for the community and the bar, and we provide opportunities such as CLEs, scholarships, donations to students, and also to other programs like the CASA Council, as well as youth court programs. Each year, we give 2 recognition awards. We have given the Bill Porter Award and the Frank X. Gordon Award to 2 deserving individuals in the community at our annual meeting that's held in the fall of each year. In short, the Mojave County Bar Association is an organization of legal professionals in Mojave County dedicated to serving the legal needs of Mojave County residents. We strive to enhance the integrity and the reputation of the legal profession, support the courts and their mission of providing equal justice to all. I've had the privilege of serving several terms as vice president and 2 terms as president of the Mojave County Bar Association. And on behalf of the Mojave County Bar Association, we are very proud to be here today providing our full support of this celebration, the reaffirmation of our oath as lawyers to support the United States and Arizona constitutions and to uphold our justice system and seek justice for all. So let's get to it. What are we here for today? What is the actual importance or significance of February 12th? So today is Abraham Lincoln's birthday. He was born February 12th, 1809. He became the 16th President of the United States of America on March 4th, 1861. He is arguably the most famous president in U.S. history. A fun fact, my son Lincoln, who's here today, his name is Lincoln, and yes, he is named after President Lincoln. More interesting facts about President Lincoln. Lincoln was a self-educated man. He had little formal education, but he taught himself and became a lawyer before being elected President of the United States. He was also an accomplished wrestler. He only lost one of the 300 matches he fought in, and he is in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. He established the United States Secret Service. He established Thanksgiving as a national holiday. He was against slavery and was the first politician to believe in the right of women to vote. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation, January 1st, 1863, the proclamation that freed more than 3.5 million slaves. He was the president during the Civil War spanning from 1861 to 1865. And on April 12, 1861, the Civil War began. November 19, 1863, he delivered the Gettysburg Address, one of the most famous speeches in history, where he also established the Soldiers' National Cemetery and referenced the Declaration of Independence, and he said, 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. On April 9, 1865, the Civil War ended, and then on April 14, 1865, President Lincoln was the first U.S. president to be assassinated just days after the surrender. He was only 56 years old, but wow, what an incredible life he lived. So what are we celebrating here today, and why? Today we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the birth of our nation, its founding principles, and lawyers' commitment to uphold those founding principles. The Declaration of Independence was written during a time of war and uncertainty, and this document that announced the separation of the 13 North American British colonies from Great Britain, where the colonists formally rejected British rule and claimed their right to self-govern. It was unanimously approved by 12 of the colonies, with New York abstaining, and it was then adopted as by the Second Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776. It was more than a political statement. It was an undeniable proclamation of liberty and a new beginning for a nation. It explained that these united colonies are, and of right, ought to be free, independent states. Accordingly, July 4th, the day on which the Declaration of Independence was adopted, has always been celebrated in the United States as the great national holiday, America's birthday, Independence Day. It famously stated that all men are created equal, with inherent rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These words became the moral foundation of the new nation and the reason they broke away from British rule. The Declaration of Independence was a revolutionary act that set forth a new nation's ideals, and it united the colonies with a common purpose, and proclaimed to the world that the people of America were ready to determine their own destiny. Its principles continue to inspire movements for freedom and equality around the world. Taking this one step further and looking at the connection between the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution is critical to understand the importance of the Declaration of Independence and how it created our nation's foundation. In 1861, President Abraham Lincoln was reflecting on the principles of the American founding. Using a biblical metaphor, he stated that the Declaration of Independence was, quote, an apple of gold, because it contained the founding principles of the new country. The Constitution, on the other hand, was a picture of silver, or a frame around the apple that created the structures of Republican government. In Lincoln's mind, and in those of the founders, the two documents were permanently linked in creating a free government. The principles of the Declaration of Independence informed the creation of the new government under the Constitution. The principles of the Declaration of Independence informed the creation of the new government under the Constitution. Together, the founding principles contained in the documents worked together to guide the governance of the nation to secure the blessings of liberty. The founding fathers believed the Republican self-government was ultimately dependent upon the civic virtue of the people. As Lincoln wrote in his Apple of Gold reflection, "So let us act that neither picture or apple shall ever be blurred or bruised or broken." Why is this celebration so important to lawyers? Well, it reminds us of what ideas and founding principles our nation was built upon. The bloodshed and death that occurred to secure the freedoms and liberties we enjoy today, and the duties as lawyers and officers of the court to first and foremost uphold, defend, and apply the rule of law in today's society to ensure civilized resolution of disputes and to ensure justice and equality for all. In conclusion, I would like to quote President Lincoln, and he has two quotes that have inspired me throughout my life. First, be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm. And second, in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it is the life in your years. Those words resonate with me, and I hope they do with you as well, and that it is our duty as lawyers to make sure the apple, as analogized to the founding principles of our nation, are never blurred or bruised or broken, and that we as lawyers make choices like Lincoln did that promote honesty and integrity within the legal profession, peace and equality in this world, and equal justice for all. I want to thank you all for coming to the Arizona Rule of Law Day to celebrate America's 250th birthday and to show your support and dedication. And I want to thank my family for coming here today as well to support me, as well as my staff and associate attorneys. And I want to, most of all, thank God for making it all possible. And as the Pledge of Allegiance written by Francis Bellamy in 1892 declares, we are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
I've been presiding judge now for just over 4.5 years, and I have just under 1.5 years left before I get to put down that unwelcome burden and have someone else be introduced to the joys of court administration. But there are some joys in the court administration. It's all not dealing with problems and begging for money and dealing with personnel issues and balancing case assignments and all the nitty-gritty paperwork that court is needed in order to function smoothly behind the scenes. You also get to work with people. That's the municipal judges, our magistrates, our justice of the peace, our superior court bench. And when I go to presiding judges meetings, which happens 4 times a year, when I go to Arizona Judicial Council meetings, when I go to other committees and meetings that I've unfortunately been placed upon, I get to brag about our bench. I've looked at numbers, I've tweaked numbers, I've got numbers from other counties, I've looked at our case processing, I've looked at our outcomes, I've looked at the money it's cost us to get there, and our bench outperforms every county in the state of Arizona. We have the most efficient and most effective bench, and I'd like to give these judges a round of applause. I will probably not get a chance to get in front of a microphone before my time as PJ is done, but to say it to you all at once, but I will say it. It has been my great joy, my great honor to have worked with you these years. And even though some of you have given me headaches, I would not have changed a day of it. So thank you all very much. And if you could stand for your oath of office. You got to come in and act like you like each other so we can get a photo. And by the way, they do like each other. I know that. Squeeze in, squeeze in. I'll get in here for one picture and then I'll read the oath. And I know they like each other, and I know that because of all the name calling behind closed doors. Just like brothers and sisters. If you can please your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution. Of the United States. And the Constitution. And laws. Of the state of Arizona. That I will bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. And defend them. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And that I will faithfully. And impartially. Discharge the duties. Of the office of. State your position. According to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations. Please have a seat. By the way, they all anticipated the state your name question. I purposely did not tell them that they were going to have to state their position because I wanted to see how quick on their feet they were, and they were very quick on their feet. So we got some smart judges out there. This is my time to make some closing remarks. I know you all want to get out of here, and I'll be very brief. We have today here retired judges. We have existing judges. We have in the audience, such as that young man Lincoln, who might someday become a judge. We have lawyers who are out there in the trenches fighting for the rights of their clients as our system is designed every day. And without them, without all of you, without the citizenry who watches us as the lawyers watch the judges and the judges watch the lawyers right back, without this whole system coming together, we would not have enjoyed 250 years of our magnificent republic. And I believe we will have 250 years and more of our republic. And that brings me great joy because it's not just for us we do this. We do it for our, I think Lincoln used the word posterity. We do it for our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and the children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren of others. We pay it forward knowing that they will pay it forward, and our Constitution and our republic will endure. Thank you all for being here. There are some refreshments up on the mezzanine, and it occurred to me, you're a judge, Steve. You're supposed to say court adjourned, meeting adjourned. The meeting is adjourned, and there's refreshments on the mezzanine for all of us who'd like to circulate and talk to each other and get to know each other a little better. Thank you all for being here.